Oh, it's very on brand, right? Start us off, I'm gonna play this funny viral YouTube video that was made by a Keller Williams agent in Virginia named Hassan. And it's just funny, it just has gone viral and it's just kind of cool.
Whether you just got in this industry or you've been in it for 30 years, you just got thrown a curve. You are going to have to be different. 1.6 million realtors, wake freaking up. Wake up.
Yeah, Keller Williams is a name, 40 years in the game. Ever since I made the jump, nothing's ever been the same. First I read Murray, then I read the one thing. Gary Keller don't play, he the real estate king.
We got a challenge. Your goal is to be alive and be thriving on the other side. Yes or no?
Yeah. Keller Williams is a blessing. #1, no questions. Internationally recognized as best and progressing. Collaborating, connecting, helping out, that's the message. Mega campus in session, so shout out to Texas. KW's got what you need to reach success. Playbooks are all in your hand like a beverage. Win-win or no deal, we can't make exceptions. Only L's we take is leads, listings, leverage. Think a million, earn a million, not a million, then got a million. Think a million, earn a million, not a million, then get a million. Yeah, Keller Williams is a name, 40 years in the game. Ever since I made the jump, nothing's ever been the same. First I read Murray, then I read the one thing. Gary Keller don't play, he the real estate king.
Isn't that funny? He just made it for his social media and now it has gone like totally viral. So it's kind of funny. And he's all over. He's just an agent at Keller Williams in Virginia. So I thought I would share it. Yes. Yeah, it was your first time seeing it.
It was my first time.
It was good, right?
It's good. Yeah, it was good. Very good.
Okay, let's talk about what's going on this week. And then we have a special guest here and we have some fun stuff in store for today.
Big day.
So on Thursday, we have Chase Williams. He's from Keller Williams International in our region, and he is going to be here teaching a class how to get more from this market. So great class, tactical knowledge on what other agents are doing in this market to succeed. So please do the barcode and RSVP to this if you haven't yet, but it is 1 hour long in this room. So we hope to see you guys there.
It would be very good. Chase is an excellent presenter. He knows this this topic very well. He knows his stuff. So like you'll get a lot out of it. And he's a good dude. So
yeah, and usually when you have like classes come in from Keller Williams International, a lot of times there's a cost to it, even if like we have to pay a lot, or like sometimes we end up having to charge people. But so this one, there is no cost.
we actually did pay. Dwight paid a pound of flesh. A reciprocal agreement to teach for free over there. So
yes, we sold Dwight's seller financing course worldwide in exchange.
Actually, so
good classes,
Chase is going to be here all day. So if you have any questions about Keller Williams or the region, it would be a good time to come in and visit with him. He is the heir apparent to Bruce Harding, who's the regional director. And what they're doing is they're basically going on the road and they're visiting. Between Chase and Bruce, they're visiting every market center in the region. We get Chase, and he will be here for the day. So he's going to spend a lot of time with Kareen, and he's going to probably ask a lot of you if she's doing a good job. So eat the donuts, feel good.
Right. Yes.
So and I know because he is on a lot of the regional leadership calls and he's plugged in on all the RD calls to Gary Keller, that he's going to be able to speak basically from regional and national perspective on what's going on with real estate, KW, what's happening in other cities. So this will be a good chat. I'm sure he'll have a Q&A and just hang around for anybody that wants to meet him and ask him questions.
Yes, but we are going to have him teach a different course, but he just created this one recently because it's so timely and relevant with this market. So that's why we went with this class. So should be good stuff. And then we have a whole month of good things in November. So then the next week we have business planning clinic, A lot of you have already signed up for this one, so thank you. This one, it's very important that you sign up because there is some pre-work and some pre-numbers and things that we pull for you to help you. And we're bringing in probably breakfast and lunch that day. So not probably, we will.
That's right.
We'll splurge for 2 meals. But it's a great day to plan your business. So please do RSVP for this. And this one fills up. We can probably hold like 40 people pretty comfortably on this one. And I think we already have like almost like 25 people RSVP'd. So
Yeah, remember, this is Keller Williams' #1 educational plan to teach you that real estate is a business and how to run it like a business. So dedicate the time. It will change your life to go through the whole course. It will change the way you think about your real estate.
mm-hmm. And you'll come out with your plan for business for next year.
Yep.
So it's interactive. And then the next week, Dwight Seller Financing is going to be here. People have been raving about this. And you know what is so funny?
What?
So you've taught seller financing like multiple times now here.
Yes.
And I've just now saw someone on Masters in Real Estate was like, would anyone be interested in a seller financing class? And someone else from our region was like, I think we're going to do a seller financing class. It's like, we've been doing it,
Mhm.
right? But now it is becoming more and more.
Yeah. Well, we did it last year at this time, and then the rates went back down.
Mhm.
And so people didn't really worry about it. But now I heard rates went to 8.3. Mike said they actually dropped a little bit.
Dropped yesterday. Doesn't mean anything.
Let's believe Mike.
Yeah, let's believe Mike for now. But you know, the worry is that the Treasury the government has to sell a lot of treasuries to pay their deficits right now. And so there is pressure, a lot, like extreme pressure on the bond market. And so these rates will be here for at least another 2 quarters. And if you want to pay for your expenses and enjoy your life, you have to learn how to do seller financing. I just taught this in Central Oregon to the Central Oregon Top 100. The room was full. 90% of the people stayed for another 45 minutes, just asking questions. And I asked the question beforehand if any of them had already been doing it, and more than half the class raised their hand. So it's happening all over. And people are putzing their way through it, and they're saying nobody really knows how to do it. Their brokers don't know how to do it. The title people really don't know how to do it. And so this is a great class for us. And I am going to go on the road and teach it at a couple of other market centers, including Chase's, because we bartered to trade mine for him. So the class, well,
An hour and a half.
No. I mean, technically, I get through what I have to say normally in about an hour, but then just a whole bunch of questions start, and with every question, there's a second question. Yeah.
It will blend into, go to the next slide, the happy hour.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, really. Ideally, you have time to leave in between. But we're going to do our vision board party in here, happy hour. We have all the supplies. All you have to bring is just a good energy and mindset of what you want to manifest for the year ahead. Maybe bring like a picture of your family, or if there's a vacation spot you really want to go to, but we'll have all the boards and all the other things. And it's always fun to make these, and it's always fun to look at each other's and see, Okay, what's up next? Okay, wait, before Mike, oh no, let's hear from Mike first. I won't mess up the order.
You want good news?
Only good news, please.
Good morning,
So
everybody.
Mike from Homefront.
Mortgage rates were up last week. That's surprising, I know. They moved slightly, helped along with strong economic data. Rates this week are supposed to be super volatile due to many events. They've got the Fed meeting, press conference, and widely anticipated borrowing report from the Treasury. So we're going to have some volatility there. I was asked to also speak a little bit about where do we think rates are going to be next year, and that's a great question. But Fannie Mae is predicting, what do we have here? Rates between 6.3 and 6.8%, which would be great. NAR thinks closer to 6, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay, I like that.
I like that positive.
So
Yeah.
it's a good time to plan for next year.
Yes.
Hey, Mike, can I ask you
That's
something?
not
Like,
bad.
I put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
So, as you were like, you got a borrower and they just went into contract and you're watching the volatility in the market this week. Are you like, how closely are you watching that to make sure that you're locking in at the right point?
Every single day.
Every single
We
day.
have updates every single day. Let us know what's going to happen in regards to meetings, what could sway rates up or down.
Right.
And it really gives us a good benchmark of where we should lock in at that point.
And I'm like using my imagination here, but I'm guessing that doesn't take like any like real skill. It just takes like wanting to do it.
Right. Exactly.
And being good for your clients.
Right.
That's cool. Awesome.
And my thought process is always, you like it, lock it.
Yeah.
You know, be safe. If you're happy with the payment, guarantee it, get it taken care of, just
Love
in
that.
case we can see sways anytime.
Yeah. Cool.
Are any of the people that you sell loans to still doing the best at close locks?
Like a free float down type thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that has gone away.
Yeah.
Mostly gone away, I should say. Yeah.
Okay.
I think because of the volatility has just been so much.
Right.
Companies are gonna take huge losses there.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
In 30 words or less, why do they think the rates are gonna come back down?
There was, well, they were talking about, you know, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. You talk about recession. They're just predicting later on in time. And then they didn't give us a benchmark of when it's gonna happen. They basically said the next few quarters will be a little tough. So I'm thinking probably third quarter, maybe next year we'll start seeing, if not a little bit sooner, hopefully sooner.
Is that based on the Fed's gonna come in and incentivize it, or?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Jill, did you have a question for Mike?
Yeah, a client asked me the other day, why do you think rates are still going up? And I'm just curious how you would answer that.
I think it's just due to the recession and gosh, I think there's a multitude of reasons. Unfortunately, I'm trying to think here. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a better
I think it's a complicated, from what we track, it's like a super complicated answer because it's not just the treasury notes. It's like what's behind all that too, and what's driving the 10-year bond market to be what it is. And right, so
inflation.
Yeah.
It's
They just had a
everything.
number come out. What was the number? I didn't recognize the three symbols. So the producer price something that just came out and it was up.
The producer price is a PPI.
No, it wasn't PPI. It was
Okay.
another index, PT something or P something. Some index came out last week and it showed strength. And so the stock market was dipping a little bit. But I mean, there's a lot of things going on. And the things that I'm reading are that we're going to have about a $1.7 trillion deficit this year, which means they're having to sell treasuries more than they're getting the revenue to buy or pay the bills for the government. And so in this fourth quarter, they have to sell a lot of treasuries just to pay the normal bills of the government. And then when the government was shut down, they tapped into a reserve account that the government keeps, and it was down. It has to be raised back up to like 500 billion. So they have to replenish that. And, there's like a whole bunch of reasons why the bond market right now, there's just so much need for money. I know China is selling treasuries, Japan is selling treasuries. We're trying to sell our own treasuries to fund the government. So there's a lot of sellers, and the buyers when that happens, the buyers require more money, more return, right? They pick the highest return, the safest return, and they go with it. So there's just a lot of competition right now, and the economy remains strong. Right. So you're going to have to start to see some real cracks in the economy, I think, before we're going to start to see the rates really change. Because in a recession, people stop spending money, and then they have to lower rates to get the economy going. So that's the cycle.
That's exactly what I read this morning.
Yeah.
Basically, it's gonna have to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah. We're gonna have to see more unemployment. We're gonna have to see some real negative things, maybe some more bank closures, business closures, whatever. And then when they think they've done enough carnage to the economy and the spending slows down, then the rates will go down. So
Quick question. Each of you said, this is what I read, this is what I read. What do you read? What publications or news channels do you recommend a person going to keep track and to know what's happening?
I have a couple mortgage sites that I belong to, and then also, Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg or not.
yeah, I have Yahoo Finance on my phone. I actually love reading it.
I listen to the Housing Wire podcast. That's a really good podcast. It's
Yeah.
like short and sweet and keeps you updated too.
I listen to them. Yeah.
But no, that's a really good question.
The other thing I like, I don't know if any of you do this, but I have, there's apps you can put on your phone to track stocks that you are interested in. And so I have those, and when you, like, I have some Tesla stock and I'm watching it go down right now. When I tap on it, I see all the feeds regarding Tesla. And so, when I don't like reading about war, because I'm tired of hearing of what's going on, you know, I usually go in there and start reading about what's going on with the businesses, see what's happening with auto sales or prices or some of the tech that's going on, you know, like with the NVIDIA and their new chips and everything. So
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
And it still makes sense to do some of those buy downs and get more
Yes.
information and make sure you're working
Yeah,
with good
I'll
one.
stay one away for a while.
Awesome.
what is that?
$1.78 billion report.
Of treasuries they have to sell?
No. Gary just lost.
They-
came-
The ruling just came in.
Oh, they just came, they said the roof.
Yeah, they just awarded the home sellers $1.78 billion.
That's
Oh my
shocking.
But I wonder,
I was gonna update
but was
about
it from the
that.
entire group or was it because,
It just says jurors awarded full damages totaling $1.78 billion to home sellers after deliberating for 2 hours and 28 minutes.
Oh.
What?
Whoa.
Wow. So let me read some of the stuff I was gonna share about that. Since we're on the topic, that's shocking, actually, because by most accounts and most polls, like there was nowhere near enough evidence. Because what did they had to show that the jurors had to show that they believe a conspiracy existed. And so not only that companies raised, inflated, and stabilized brokers' commissions paid by home sellers, but also that the defendants knowingly and voluntarily joined the conspiracy with the purpose of furthering its goals. So by most people's accounts, like there was nowhere near enough evidence to show that. Gary Keller took the stand last week and was asked about commissions and things like that. And if there's a standard commission, and Gary Keller said multiple times, they're independent contractors. Independent contractors, KW agents charge what people are willing to pay. And it's interesting because Keller Williams doesn't tell us what to charge.
Yeah, from what I heard,
right?
from what I heard what Gary said, I thought he insulated himself from the ruling. Like I thought he had data to back it up and stuff. I thought I was always worried about NAR on this and where they're going to come out. But I will say this, one, that $1.7 billion, that like, you don't just win that, like it's going to be appealed and it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court because it's such a big number. There's no way this is just going to end here. Right. So let me ask you, what do you think this does to your business today?
Not much.
You know how hard it is to find the news on this? It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like you have to get behind paywalls to even read about it. Like, I don't know, like it may be announced in the morning news today, like it may make national news because it's a big number, but it's not going to have any kind of staying power because there's so many other big news stories out there. So I don't think like really today has much effect on our industry, at least not on your image, right? Now how I don't know, I'll have to read the ruling to see if there's anything in there that's going to like stipulate how we do business, but I don't think that a court in Missouri has the ability to dictate how you do business here in Oregon. So I don't think it's really going to affect us yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. Like we'll be out ahead of this. My wheels been turning on this for weeks now, trying to think about like, what do we do to take advantage of the situation, not to succumb to the situation. So we'll come out ahead.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to be starting to think about using buyer broker agreements.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
that's
it.
the bottom line of this whole thing. If you're out showing houses and you don't have a buyer broker agreement, you might quickly find that your buyer who you've shown 30 homes to lands on a home that's in the MLS where no commission split is offered and they buy it and you get nothing.
Yeah.
That's at the
You
end of the
have it in
day,
your
that's the way
contract
this is going to go.
That if they find
Unless
out.
you have
you
a
have a buyer
buyer's
broker.
agent agreement, if you
Yeah.
don't have one, I'm talking about if
Oh,
you don't
right.
have one.
Mhm.
And they land on one of those that's in the MLS or Zillow or whatever source they find it, they drive by it and the seller said, I'm not going to pay for the 2.5 or 1.5 or anything. you potentially find yourself without a commission unless you have a buyer broker agreement.
Yes. Oh,
I
go ahead.
just wanted to add, in other parts of the country, buyer broker agreements are like the standard. Like to operate without one is unusual. So it's not weird to do that.
Right. It's just changing habits, right?
I'm gonna do that workshop, but they didn't schedule it for several weeks. If people want to do it sooner, just pick a day and I'll come here and walk through it for an hour or two or whatever, how we. do our presentation.
Yeah, I think we have a good workshop with Peter scheduled for early December, but
I think that's fine. So I don't think there's gonna be a big change before early December, but we can't. It's up to you guys.
calendar's filling up.
It is.
November's like over. November is like starts tomorrow and is over.
Yeah.
But thank you, Peter, for teaching that.
Yeah.
Really.
Bradley.
Maybe this is the time to increase your commission to a non-standard amount.
Ooh,
Like, what are you talking about, Rob?
Like 6.1.
6 or 7. Yeah, 6.6,
7 or 8.
6.4.
yeah, right?
Well, at the end of the day, we've been talking about this. At the end of the day, when you list a house, and there'll be some disclosure that probably comes through us, you know, in response to this, that you have to ask your seller, you have to make it clear to your seller that they can offer zero compensation. And so if you said to your seller, if you want to have the most realtors show your home, you would offer compensation in a way that maybe traditionally we have.
And that's,
If you want to narrow the field down,
yeah,
then you would offer something less. And then the realtors who create their tours will look to see what the compensation is, and your home may not be shown. That's simply the way that real estate works.
and that's what
We have to
Lawrence,
decide if we want to get paid for our work.
yes, Lawrence Wu from NAR, sorry to interrupt you. That was what when he testified in this trial, that's what he said, that offering a compensation to the buyer's agent helps the sellers ultimately.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was around that. So again, we tell you all of this not to like cause fear, but just to be knowledgeable on what's going on in our
Right.
industry.
The funny thing is, like, we put stipulations and rules and all the things. The economics rarely change around these things, right? It's like, buyers still need to be represented by you. Your job is not to find them a house. Your job is to make sure they're buying the right house, right? So they're still going to need your help. They need your help more than ever, right? Especially in this market. And so with complications of financing, all these things, right? Like getting an 8% loan right now, you know, I don't know, like there's buyer financing options, there's buy down rates, there's so many things that the consumer does not know about that you know about. And that's what your value is, right? That's what you do. It's not, go ahead. It's not like calling him and saying, did you see the listing that just popped up on your phone, right? They don't need you for that, right? Anyways.
I was just asked going back, like I have a couple buyers, like going back and advice on getting them to sign a buyer broker agreement, but I don't have
I don't know. Once you started, I don't know.
It's a lot harder to do once you've started.
It's like about 4 months ago, and I just had a really nice email and then a call that said, you know, I've gone through like my policies within my business and I'm now requiring this to move forward, and people are fine. They signed it.
I like
Yeah, it
that.
probably
I
depends
like
on
that.
your relationship.
Their own business, you should be going over your SOPs and stuff anyways, and I just said.
I love
you know,
that.
it's a new policy that I put into place
Mhm.
and to move forward, you know, I'd love to keep working with you. And then I would follow up with a phone call.
Yeah.
And you can also add, like, there's a different relationship when you're under a buyer contract, right? There's like, you always have a duty to be honest and ethical and whatever, but when they've actually hired you, there's additional responsibilities that apply. And that's an easy discussion to have. You know, we've been building a relationship. I really feel like I've gotten to know you. I think it's time to, you know, make sure that everything I do, I'm not just being honest with you. Like, I am truly legally bound to look out for your best interests. And it's just bringing.
Sharing relationship.
Exactly. Thank you. That's the word I was not finding in my head.
Awesome. Okay, good discussion on that. Let's shift gears. Welcome, Adrian.
Lots of
What's up?
follow.
Come up here. So Adrian is from Environmental Works, and she has so kindly provided food for us and treats for us this Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell everyone just like a quick version of how about environmental
Well,
works?
I don't know. I brought a couple things, although it looks like I'm here, so I will have to grab them for you. But first of all, does anybody know what Environmental Works does, just out of curiosity? None of you? Oh, in the back. There you go.
I use them. Like, doing, radon reports and stuff like that.
Perfect. Well, you win a prize. Go ahead. She can pick whichever one she wants.
Oh, Cole makes a good Vanna.
I know, I'm all about prizes.
Yes.
Yes, you're very good, Vanna White. So we do sewer radon and heating oil tanks. So that is the perfect answer. We decommission, mitigate, and repair sewers. We also have a full service plumbing business, so we can repipe, reseat, place toilets, whatever, sinks. But then we also do other things that probably a lot of you don't know about, like directional drilling. You have a brand new Tesla and you don't want the cord hanging out from under your garage and you don't want to mess up your beautiful slab driveway. We can actually dig underneath the slab without damaging it. We can also do that for utilities if you want lights, fancy gates, all of that stuff. We do phase 1 and 2 and 3 of new build on new construction. We do commercial and residential.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so let's see, what else am I leaving out? I am sure I'm leaving out more things because I am not overly prepared, sorry. It's Halloween and I have a kid who was sick up until this morning and was wondering if Halloween was going to happen with tears and tears.
Oh no.
So a lot of sleepless nights. But yeah, so that's what we do. Something that we do that's also is educating the community. So we teach classes CE on both radon, sewer, and heating and oil tanks, which for all of you who may not know this, the DEQ recently changed the heating and oil tank regulations. So obviously out here in like Oswego, maybe not as much, but if you're selling in Portland, you're selling in Vancouver, you're selling on the east side, you know, especially there's a lot of heating and oil tanks. And so that potentially adds, if there's leaking tanks, several $1,000s to a transaction because there's air samples that now need to be taken and things like that. So
that's right. I heard about that recently.
yeah, so we're teaching a class on that we've been doing 2 or 3 times a week for the last couple of weeks and all the way through December. So as we were talking about your calendar
for January.
Let's do it because it's going fast. I might even have some for December if you need. But yeah, so that's some really cool things. We also have chosen as a company that we mitigate lower than the World Health Organization, which is 2.7 for the or 2.4 for them. We mitigate for radon, sorry. Yes. And so we mitigate at 1.7 for our radon because we feel that a lot still happens between that. Something else that our company does, which is really cool, is we warranty the work that we do, not on the ownership and who did the work, but on the house. So if you have a mitigation system put in by us and it fails, even though the house has been sold, we'll still warranty the mitigation system.
Wow, that's great.
The other thing is really, really educate your clients. Radon is a huge problem. It kills more people than car accidents every year. It is the second cause of lung cancer to smoking, and a lot happens between 4 and 2.7.
That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the other things with new builds, I know a lot of people are like, well, my house is a new build, I don't need that. It does. A passive mitigation system I've seen recently fail or not work. So that's also make sure that, you know, the builders have done their jobs. Also, I found a 2x4 in a pipe last week in a sewer scope on a brand new build.
Cool.
So we had to go and rip up everything. We do offer trenchless options, and we do the pipe bursting and the coating and all of that. So there are options for those that don't have to damage everything. We offer we offer financing for your sellers or for your buyers. So that's something that's kind of unique about our company as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we offer.
So like if I have a seller and I can, at a minimum, you guys can get paid out of closing on something?
Yeah,
Front?
absolutely. We're pretty good about that. And then say like the house needs repiping and it's $9,000 and then going, oh my God, but I love this house, but where am I coming up with $9,000 with all of the other things going on? We would offer financing for something like that.
Cool.
So they could get the house repiped, choose to buy it, and just pay it off over time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Does anybody have any questions for me? Ooh, okay. Well, now I'm going to test you. What did I say that we put our rate, we get our radon levels to?
1.7.
Set it over here.
Yeah, I think Mark.
So I think he gets to pick. Do you want a journal or a fancy ramen bowl?
Probably the ramen bowl.
The ramen bowl's pretty
That's
cool.
good.
I bought one for my house too.
That's pretty good.
All right.
price.
So what are the four main services that I said that we do. Ooh, I'm testing.
Radon, sewer, piping.
Oil tank.
Drilling, like.
Okay, you were close. It's sewer, radon, heating and oil tank, and plumbing. I think you
I
got
think
it
you
over
get the, I
here.
think you get the.
Well, I always get surprised because that's what I just did. I think we actually have.
I always use you, what do I get?
Well, I'll go look that up and I'll take you to lunch. I'm pretty fabulous to have lunch with. No, just kidding.
They do, one thing that I like about Environmental Works too, is they do all of their marketing and business is generated just through like agent referrals and networking and word of mouth and like doing things like this.
We're big
So-
on community support. That's something that, that's my job. I do business development and marketing for eWorks. We really try to support not only our agents, but also our community. So if there's something you guys are doing and you want us to, publicize it or, invite me, I gladly will always come. I like a good client appreciation and I like a good, support. If you're doing a jacket drive, a shoe drive, let us know. We really want to be involved in our community.
They throw a fabulous summer party.
Thank you. Get tanked every year, happens in
Mhm.
July, so we hope to see you. It's worth coming out to Fairview.
It is.
This year it's going to be a luau, I hear, so, and not like cheesy luau. We are
They
gonna
go-
have like a fire,
Mhm.
dancers and pig on a spit, and I think I've heard rumor of maybe a lot of sand being delivered to our parking
Wow.
lot.
I'll bring my flip flops.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
beach volleyball at the parking lot, like real.
All right, I love it.
So yeah, so let me know how we can support you and, be there. And obviously, if you guys have questions about things, we're always here to guide you. I think in your bags, most of you have cards. I think I ran out of cards, but here is my contact information and reach out to me. I've also worked in real estate world and mortgage for quite some time. So I probably know connections of things that you might need or vendors you might need because I've got a pretty big bench after 5 years of being in the industry. So, feel free to tell me how I can help. I love to help.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for
Adrian.
having
Thank
me,
you for being
guys.
here, and thank you for the treats and the
Yes,
food.
absolutely.
and the
Happy
knowledge.
Halloween.
Yes,
Thank
happy
you.
Halloween. Yay. Okay, this is kind of important. So for those of you that use showing time, it's going away and RMLS has its own new showing platform called Aligned Showing. So right now you can still access both, but showing time will be phasing out soon. So you should learn how to use Aligned Showings. And if you look over on that far side, there's all kinds of trainings at RMLS or online through RMLS on Aligned Showings. So if you want the knowledge, it's there.
When does showing away?
It just says right now in the coming months. So I would imagine for sure by the end of the year. But I think the goal is to get people using Aligned Showings. But as with any showing type system, it only works if people are using it, right? Because everyone has to use it. So that's why they left showing time up during this overlap period. So
Yeah,
has
Dwight-
anyone used it yet? Or
Dwight and I were
looked
just
at it?
having a talk on this. Yeah, can we see a hand, raise a hands? Who uses it?
How was the experience?
I was trying to book one showing and the agent was given a.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other one,
I think some
Okay.
people don't know that it's set up and that they're getting these, it's just landing nowhere.
Yeah.
Or it's landing and they just think it's spam or something like that.
Mhm.
Who uses showing time? Everybody uses showing time, like to make appointments or to on your listings.
Oh, but it's been failing recently. I'm not getting the notifications
Hmm.
in the same ways that I thought I used to.
Interesting,
I haven't unchecked it.
interesting.
They probably peel them off for their own agent. Yeah, how many people know that showing time was purchased by Zillow?
Oh, is that what?
And how many people know that
For a
Zillow
while
has
now.
their own real estate arm?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they sell our leads back to us when they get inquiries on our own listings. We have to pay to get them back.
How many people
Yeah.
were buying Zillow leads?
Well, and
So does anyone wonder why our MLS, which is owned by our real estate organization, would develop their own?
Well, in most parts of the country, showing time, the agents, it's a thing that agents would pay for. Our RMLS had partnered to provide it
Mhm.
to us. So, but it makes sense to design their own
Mhm.
because there was a cost to that too. So,
I would just keep this in mind when you sign up for one of these services, you're showing your potential buyer how much activity you have on the property. I don't like, the other day I was looking just to see how the market was going. There's a house down the street from mine that's been for sale for a while. And I wanted to see how many showings were set up on it. And there was like Friday afternoon, there was like one showing set for the entire weekend. And I'm like, it's like an $830,000 house in Lake Oswego. It should have like 5, 6, 7, 8 showings set up for the weekend. It had none. And basically what that's saying is, hey, I'm overpriced. Someone's interested in this house. So like caution with these. There's some benefits of making the appointment. Dwight likes to talk to people about what they're looking for, get an idea who they are, get the agent talking, develop some rapport. And those are great ideas. But just for me, I always just wanted to stay in contact with my clients, setting up the showing. It was easier for me to reminded me to get feedback and stuff. I always thought it was like a better system to keep it more analog than digital for setting up showings. So like you guys need to do what you want to do. I think that and do what's best for you. But I do think that like organic touch piece between you and your clients and the brokers is really valuable. And so
yeah, the market is at a point where a lot of listings aren't selling and the agents are befuddled as to what they should be saying to their sellers. And it really helps to have conversations with the people that showed the house, because then you can drill down in that conversation to try and get feedback. And if they don't have feedback from their buyer, you ask them what their feedback is and you pass that information back to your seller. So if you get 2 or 3 different people saying that they feel like it's overpriced based on the homes they've seen, then that's important for you to communicate to your seller. Or if they say something like I just had a call because I had shown a home and then my client just bought another home that had seller financing. And so that broker had called and said, hey, how'd it go? And I said, they bought another home that had seller financing. And that broker can now go back to his seller to say, hey, this is what's happening. They might have already had the conversation and now it reinforces it. So if we're not getting inundated with showings on these things, it becomes more important than ever to start having conversations with the realtors that you're working with so that you can give the input back to your seller. Otherwise, what do you have to talk about? There are 4 showings. I have no idea what anyone said. That doesn't work very
wait
well.
for someone to respond to a message on from Showing Time or from Aligned to give feedback.
Yes, Mark.
I like to ask the agents, have you looked at what other homes in the area have you looked at? How did ours compare?
That's right.
Because I get my perspective if I go view those other homes, if I've seen them. If I haven't seen them, if they have, and they're looking from a buyer's perspective at the other 3 homes that are all 100 years old, I want their opinion on it. Because that comparison is exactly what any other agent is going to do. So I'll dig for as much information as I can.
Yeah.
Might point out that we're all in the same boat. So contacting another realtor who's showing your listing probably has listings and they, want to reciprocate. We just had one this morning. We were down to 2 people and just found out that they wrote on the other home. So I said, be really helpful to know which home that was, because you said it's a better price, better interior, better price. I need that information to take back to my seller. She said, she says, we're writing now. As soon as we submit it, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, we're all in this together.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you how many listings I've had where the people, I asked them how it went. They thought it was overpriced. And I said, what do they think of the basement? And they said, what basement? Because they didn't read the MLS listing enough and they didn't find the door going into the basement and they didn't realize there was a basement when they were evaluating it. Have you had that?
Yeah.
Of course. Like anyone who's been in the business a while realizes that the realtors generally are not prepared to show your home.
They're not all Keller Williams agents.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's switch gears and play a little fun game for Halloween on some spooky scenarios. So if you get out your phone and download the Kahoot app, or if you don't want to download it, you can just scan this barcode in 1 sec. No non-participation is accepted.
You will regret not playing this game.
Mark, are you on?
Can I write it down with a pencil on my phone?
No pencils. Adrian, you can
You'll have to
play.
use the app. You can go straight. The website works pretty good. I've never downloaded this app before.
Wait, where?
Are you playing?
No.
Who is impersonating Dwight Schwab?
Oh, probably your camera.
Oh. That's funny.
He's gonna bomb it on purpose.
Oh. We'll give it another couple minutes. Oh, tequila. Yep. Who's spooky crap, Mona?
Sparrow.
And if you're on Zoom, you can play too. You just same thing.
Just won't be here to pick up an English shading.
Yes.
Well, I guess I should say that caveat, in your treat bags, if any of you win on your scratch ticket, tag me and, like.
Oh, yeah.
Lunch.
Oh, that's a good prize.
Somebody was told me, I think it was Don Irvin, someone won $1,500 on a scratch ticket, but she had.
Given out? Oh, that would be memorable.
Cool raffle.
Yes.
Scratch ticket.
Okay, are we ready to roll? So let's do this. Now, don't worry. Oh,
One sec.
okay. Wait, don't go yet. Nope. You can also, I know. Well, you see it when like little kids now, like, and they pretend to have your phone. They don't pretend to talk. They pretend to like do, Okay, is everyone good?
Sure. Go.
Dia, are you good? Wait, Sid, help. I'm pretty good.
Colors on different, that would have completely, like if the blue squares had orange and then that would
That
That would've been tricky.
That would've been tricky.
Yeah, so this one is practice. They will get harder from here. Okay, everyone ready to roll? Let's do the next one. Or wait, it'll show everyone who got that one right got points. And actually, the faster, Dwight, you were the fastest.
The faster you
The Dwight
answer,
Schwab impersonator is the fastest.
That's cool.
That is so funny. Okay, yeah, that's if you have never played Kahoot before, the faster you answer, the more points you get also. So keep that in mind as we continue on.
if you're right.
Okay, if you are right, yes. Okay, Cole, let's do this. Okay, according to a recent Zillow survey, what percentage of buyers would consider buying a house that is haunted? 23, 50, 67, or 78%? Wow. Wait, Cole, there's supposed to be music. We need some sound happening. There's supposed to be some background music while people think. Okay. So the correct answer on that one was 67%. So 5 people got that right. Yeah. Isn't that wild? Yes. Look at that. Tequila at the top of the scoreboard. Okay. Next question. 68% of home buyers find which of the following to be spookier than buying a haunted house? Foundation issues, lead-based paint, mold, or radon? Wait, Cole, we need the music. Oh, I'm like, we really need the music. Oh,
Mold is fixable. Yeah.
yes. But yes,
The mold leads the way.
buyers ranked mold to be the scariest. Sammy, top of the board. Brett and Grace right after. Okay. Red Riding Hood climbed 11 spaces. Okay. Oh, your buyers close on a house, and in their first night in the house, 2 chandeliers mysteriously crashed to the ground. Who is responsible for the costs? The sellers, the buyers, the real estate agent, or there is not enough information to determine? See, the music makes it much better.
Wow.
All right. So it's a little bit of a trick question because there is not enough information to determine. But click on to the next. We'll see who got it right, and then we'll do an explanation. Well, it's probably the buyers. Wait, go to next. Cole, go to next. Here's the explanation on this one. There's not enough information to determine, because if the buyers could somehow prove that the sellers had previous knowledge of the issue and failed to disclose it, then they could come back to the sellers, but otherwise it would fall upon the buyers.
And 20,000 later, they get the $15.
Right. So it's kind of a trick question.
Yeah, it's fun. But it's Halloween, trick or treat.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was gonna say buyers originally, and Kelly's like, no, we gotta account for every
account for everything.
scenario.
Gotta account for
So,
everything.
yes. Okay, let's do this. True or false? Sellers are required to disclose that their house is haunted. Look at everyone answering so quickly. I love it.
There's a lot of wrong answers on this. True.
True. For
There was a-
haunted houses.
There was a New York court case. It's a famous court case. Oh, sorry.
Just hold your roll for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay, tequila, got that right. Okay, here's the explanation on the next slide. Kelly, go ahead, talk
Yeah,
about it.
so there's a landmark case in New York City, and it was actually appealed. And originally, the court ruled that this is as a matter of law, the house is haunted. They actually put that into law as a matter of law, the house is haunted. Everybody thought that was really funny, but they said it was originally the court said no, you don't have to disclose that. But then they appealed and said if it was known, if it had a reputation as being haunted, it would affect the value of the house. And if the sellers believed it to be haunted, then it was haunted. And so they
So because it
because
could
it
impair
affected the value of the house. And there is empirical data that says so, that a haunted house sells for less than a more haunted.
It's not when.
No, it has, no,
Yeah.
I disagree. It affects it. Yeah, but that's different. Death, we're talking about, no, that's different. That's something different. We're not talking,
Yeah,
we're talking
that's
about haunted. Haunted, always disclose. Yep, always disclose.
What's the physical proof of being haunted?
It was because the sellers believed it was haunted. That's why it became a matter of law that it was haunted, because the sellers believed so.
Chris Alders asked, would that ruling only apply to New York State? No, because it set a precedent.
Yeah, you guys remember, we don't go to Oregon court. We don't argue in Oregon court. We argue in arbitration, and a lawyer will absolutely pull this verdict, and they would have a point. Yeah. So disclose. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, next one. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, what percentage of Americans claim to have lived in a haunted house? 6, 14, 24, or 32?
Oh, I want to be right.
24%. 9 people got
That's a
that
big
one
number.
right. That is
A quarter of the homes in America are haunted.
people
according to
said that they've lived in it at some point.
Mhm.
So, okay.
I feel like living in the same home, right?
Yes, that's true, right? JJ, whoever that is, who's JJ? Is that you, Jill?
No, I think it's
Julie? Oh, right. Who else is a JJ? Okay, next question. Oh, Whitney moved up 9 places. JJ's in the lead. Which of the following do homeowners rank as being the scariest? Unexpected costs, bad neighbors, a rise in crime in the neighborhood, or a home burning down in a fire? Unexpected costs is what fires ranked as the scariest. So 8 people got that one right. Let's see. Ashley climbs the top, knocking out Tequila to number 2 and Sammy number 3. Okay, this one is a long one, so it takes 2 slides. Your seller just closed on their home. Oddly, the buyer was only able to view the property at night. Your seller client was thrilled to sell the property and even more excited because the buyer allowed them to stay in the home for 60 days after closing so they can find a new home. Unfortunately, the buyer turned out to be a vampire, and your clients are uncomfortable with the idea of the buyer accessing the property after closing. Does the buyer have a contractual or supernatural right to not allow the buyer to access the property? Wait, did we mess that up? Hold on. The
Does the seller?
Yes.
The seller.
Does the seller have
thank
the
you.
contractual? Sorry, yes, we
My
messed
bad.
that one up.
Yeah.
Does the seller have the contractual right to not allow the buyer to access the property when it's already been sold, but the seller's still living in it?
During the 60 days.
During the 60 days.
Ooh, I
So
like this
yes,
image.
no, or there's not enough information to determine. So again, I'm sorry, that should say, does the seller have the contractual or supernatural right to not allow the buyer to access the property? The answer is no. Huh?
Assuming we've used the ORF sale agreement.
Yep, here, wait, hit next.
Says the, possession after close agreement.
Here, we're gonna funny you should ask, Peter. Sammy, good job. Okay, Kelly, take this one.
So the seller agrees to admit the buyer to, and they're authorized, this is what the occupancy agreement says. Seller agrees to admit buyer or buyer's authorized agent at reasonable times to inspect the property. Therefore, the seller cannot unilaterally rescind the vampire's buyer's invitation to access the property. So neither contractually or supernaturally may they.
However, they have kids that are always asleep before the sun goes down, so they can't come in and wake up the kids.
But
True,
however,
true.
however, you did allow them access to view the property at night. And so now it's not reasonable for them to see it in the night after they purchased it. I think that that would be a difficult.
Oh, so many good things in this one. Okay, next. Keep going. What percentage of Americans believe to have seen a ghost? 7, 18, 11, or 27? Well, 25 slides total. Some of them are explanations.
Random ass guess.
18%. 4 people got that right. A lot of people thought 27%. Casper, whoever Casper is. Okay, let's keep it going. Name this famous haunted property. Winchester House, the House at Seven Gables, Hotel Monte Visto, and the Crescent Hotel.
You get bonus points that then
Ooh, maybe. You know, I
maybe.
made my husband do this as a test last night, and he said he had been there. That was a fun fact. I had no idea. The Winchester House. Yes.
Winchester Mystery House.
Yes. In one sec, we'll learn a little bit more
Casper.
about that. Yes. The Winchester Mystery House, following the death of her husband and child, Sarah Winchester, who was the wife of a rifle maker's son, was informed by a seer that her family was killed by the ghosts of gunshot victims. So to keep away the vengeful spirits, she commissioned the fun house, turned into like this, like she just kept going on with it. And so she made it even creepier by adding staircases that lead right to the ceiling, doors that open into brick walls, and windows that take you to secret passages.
Or the other story is that she was told by a seance that if she ever quit building, she would die. Yeah. That's why she kept-
So she kept making it
So she
crazy.
kept building it, building,
crazier.
building. That's cool.
Wow.
That's
And
cool.
it's, yeah, that's, who's been there? Yes, and I saw it's like 24,000 square feet. Okay, let's go. There's a follow-up question on this one. What is the architectural style of the Winchester Mystery House? American Craftsman, Tudor, Victorian, or mid-century modern?
everything else, you're not.
We're locked in. Victorian. And then even within the Victorian architectural style, some might even say it is Queen Anne.
They could say Queen. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
But Get out of here. Okay, keep it moving for time. Okay, this is the scenario one. You represent famed psychopath and bad guy Michael Myers in the purchase of a new home. You'd prefer to not work with the psychopath, but he has a large down payment and is pre-qualified. Prior to closing, Michael Myers goes on a spree, but this time it's a shopping spree. Michael buys a household of new furniture and electronics on credit, and he no longer qualifies for his conventional loan. The seller has performed under the terms of the agreement. Is Michael due his earnest money back?
You wanna
Hit
get
the
the
next.
answer. That's really.
Oh, yes. Is Michael due his earnest money back? Yes, no, 50% of his earnest money, or there is not enough information to determine. I don't know if that's possible. No is the right answer. I think we have an explanation on this one. Let's see. Casper and Tequila, Sammy. There's some people really taking the lead here. Okay, to the next, so we can get the explanation on that.
So
Cal.
because the buyer, because of 5.1, the buyer's financing a portion of the property, then this transaction is subject to the following contingencies. And the third caveat on it is the buyer obtains a loan from lender unless failure to obtain the loan is due to buyer's own fault, and he went out and changed his credit, his ratios. So it's his fault. No loan.
But that can be tricky because, right, some people might think, oh, well, then it's the lending
Right.
or the loan contingency, but it isn't.
Yes, it is a little bit of a trick question.
Okay, name this local famous haunted property. The Oregon State Reformatory, the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, the Stanley Hotel, or the Pittock Mansion.
Ooh,
The Pittock Mansion.
lots of people got it right.
Lots of people got that one right.
Been there.
Lots of Oregonians.
Casper.
Yes, Casper is
Increasing his lead.
really.
That's part of that.
It ran out of space. I know. Okay, the Pittock Mansion Oregonian pioneers, Henry and Georgina Pittock, built their dream house in 1909. But unfortunately, they only got to enjoy it for a few years before passing away. Okay, next question. Follow up on this. This landmark is just a short walk west of the Pittock Mansion, has been a caretaker's cabin, a ranger station, and it's also known for high school keg parties.
Thank you. Thank you.
And graffiti. The Pittock's Roost, McClay Cabin, Witch's Castle, or the Wildwood House. This is the second to last question, so.
Finish strong.
This is pretty fun and informative.
Yeah. This is right up your alley. You're mad this one took your name, so you can't.
You're just mad. You're mad that you're losing. Witch's Castle is the right answer with 9 people getting this one correct. Okay, let's take a look at the scoreboard before we go to the final question. So Sam, Casper, Tequila, Ladybug. Look, Dwight Schwab, you're on the leaderboard.
You should get bonus points
The
if you
fake,
actually.
the fake Dwight Schwab.
You should get bonus points if you've actually drinking as an underage minor at Whistle's Castle.
Oh, yes. Okay, now keep in mind, the faster, the more points you get. So final question. You kind of touched on it earlier.
Good.
Sellers are required to disclose that there has been a murder on the property. True or false? In Oregon, I should add. Well, it stops when everyone locks in.
Yes.
Ooh, this was very, very close, but the answer to this one is false.
Looks like 11 people need more training than Kelly.
Mhm.
Okay, so
This is
in
a tricky one.
theory, It was true. So how is this different than the
It's-
listed one?
Because it's actually in Oregon. It's actually in Oregon
This
law.
is an Oregon law. Here, wait, hit next, Cole. And I think there is an explanation card on this one.
Whereas if there's no.
Okay.
Other states as.
Right, because we would
Yes.
be, yeah.
Oregon specifies that deaths and violent crimes are facts that do not adversely affect the physical condition or value of the property. So that's the difference.
I've actually been asked this question before in a house where the client when someone did die in the property. And I really struggled with how to answer it because I just ignored completely ignored the question. I just didn't give him an answer.
Is that the official advice?
That's what I would do. Like, but the problem is, but again, like we were just talking earlier, how like, all this stuff doesn't change the economics. Well, it doesn't change the economics of the situation. The person was still worried about purchasing a home that someone had died in. Luckily, we were like kind of far enough through the process where I think we had enough leverage to keep her in the sale. But like, if someone asks, you can't lie and give them the answer, right? You can't say no. If you knew someone did.
If they ask. Right, it doesn't require you to disclose it, but if they ask, you have to tell the truth.
No, I don't think you have to. I think you don't have to tell. You can not say, which is what I chose to do. I chose not to answer the question. But saying no would be
a lie.
So I would just refer to the Oregon law.
Okay.
Oregon law states that we don't have to stipulate that.
Okay. All right, let's see the podium. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, in third place, Casper getting 9 out of 15. Does anyone want to admit to being Casper? Sammy is number 2. And in number 1,
Ladybug. Out of nowhere.
Wow, impressive. Are all of those people, is Casper in the room?
I want to review.
A challenge.
Oh my gosh. Okay, everyone.
You have to be present to win.
Well, I
Number one gets a new car.
I have prizes, but none of y'all are here. It's all people on Zoom. Thank you guys for playing. Thank you for your participation. Have a wonderful, happy, and safe Halloween.
That was fun.
Dwight is still unsure if it was.
Yeah.